Good morning all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday morning, January 19th. We are looking at window traders, market profile of the ES and SPY. And for once, we're getting some continuation here after what the market tried to do one day, right? It's not no weak sellers, at least for now, giving up what they accomplished yesterday. A lot riding on the table here, as not only have they failed the 200 and the 50 in SPY, now they're threatening to test the 20-day moving average, and there's an opportunity for sellers to possibly take out last week's low over the next day or two and have a chance for an outside week down. So after bulls started pretty impressively, they had the weekly up, the daily up. Well, right now the daily's in balance, about to come out of balance to the downside on a gap, and the weekly low is in jeopardy. You know, this is going to be the 12th trading day, I believe, of the year. And this is going to be the 7th gap of the year. Second downside gap. We've had 5 upside gaps. We talk about emotional trading. Well, that's exactly what we're seeing again early this year with the short-term traders ruling the show. Triple Qs. Again, remember, we went out with distributions yesterday and price probes. Qs are looking to gap lower, as you can see. And so is Russell. So Russell, yesterday morning, IWM got close to their balance high on the weekly, within 50 cents of it, and they've backed off $7. Talk about balance rules, right? Do not ever underestimate them. They're more powerful than gap rules. Now, you know how I feel about gap rules, depending on the size of the gap. Right now, yesterday's low in SPY was 391.28, and by the way, it looks like we're going to fill the gap from January 11th. So right now we're talking about a gap of $3. That's just too much for me, okay? We talk about that all the time, right? I don't want to gap and go when the gap is large. Not only that, where the 20-day moving average right now is, before we open today's, it's at 386.26, so there's still some room to get down to it. And also last week's low is 386.27 is last week's low. So you talk about the 20 and last week's low coming into focus. That's going to be important. So we'll see if we go and test that. It's about $2 lower from where we're trading. So on a gap of $3 or so, I'm not looking for a short right away. We get some sort of inventory adjustment, I will absolutely look for a short against the gap, right? If the gap fills, then you're going to have the price probe, which is H's low. But right now, sellers are going to be starting with lower value and gap and indices in their favor. So just keep that in mind. So a gap of $3, though, not looking right away. If we were to push initially in A period, straight down really hard, another $2, I would probably the first time take a long against last week's low in the 20-day moving average, just to see, because we are dealing with short-term traders most likely, just to see what kind of responsive bounce we get, maybe the first time there. If it happens in B period, when we're one-time framing down, that trade's probably out the window, right? But in A period, if we were to push hard, especially without an inventory adjustment right away, I'd probably take a long the first time against last week's low. Those are your two early plays, a long against last week's low in A period, and a short where the risk-reward is better if we get some sort of inventory adjustment. And then just quickly, so here's the charts. So here's your weekly. We got close to that trend line, failing it. Here's last week's low, 386.27, with $2 above it. The weekly is still up until we take that out. But if you do take it out, not only do you come into balance, then the possibility of an outside week down looms on you. And don't forget, both the NASDAQ and Russell had outside days down yesterday. We did not. We did not take out yesterday's high. But they did, and they're following through. And here we are. We came into a 5-day balance yesterday. We're looking to come out of that 5-day balance down on a gap. Thanks for the likes and subscribing. Good luck trading, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.